You guys know that I am a believer in the NFL narrative. To me, it's just like a soap opera. It's a storytelling situation. It's always been like that, but it's really kind of kicked up since Roger Goodell has been the commissioner of the National Football League. I've accepted this and I have moved on. I make content about the Detroit Lions, and I just want the NFL to start valuing my team after decades of not, right? We are the only NFC team to never appear in the Super Bowl. We are the only OG team to never appear in the Super Bowl. And until Sunday, we were the only team in the NFC North to not win the NFC North in its 20-year existence, but that all changed. And I knew last year, if you want to go look, I have receipts. One thing about making YouTube videos is receipts, both the good and the bad. But I have receipts of the Detroit Lions being held out of my take. They've been held out of the playoffs last year. We were one of the hottest, if not the hottest team in the National Football League the last 10 weeks of the season, going 8-2. As a matter of fact, the Lions are 19-6, I believe, over their past 25 games. So the NFL narrative was at play. You had to see Tom Brady, how that was going to play out. He got bounced out of the playoffs in the first round. You had to see Aaron Rodgers. Part of the narrative was us sending him home. All right. Well, actually, the narrative was to get him to the playoffs, but the Detroit Lions overcame the NFL narrative, and that's what happened. But if you go back and you look at the Seattle game, it's all there. Okay. I'm not trying to change your mind or make you a believer. That's. You believe what you want to believe. I believe I was once you, but then that changed in October of 2019. All right. Remember hands to the face? That's when it became obvious to me what the NFL was really about. But even so, I love it. I love my team. I still go to games. It's just like watching the WWE. You guys go and fill up stadiums for that. We do the same thing for the NFL. I used to be into wrestling, but not anymore. Shout out to Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, Macho, Iron Sheik, all of them guys. Anyway, I'm getting distracted going down the road of nostalgia. Now we're here for the NFL, right? NFL, I've called this a long time. I have receipts from before the season started, when the season started, middle of the season. That's the NFL is trying to bring the beloved Matthew Stafford back to Ford Field. We officially will host our first playoff game, but we could go even further than that. We really could. We're already the underdogs right now. We got nobody is counting us in to do anything except maybe win that first playoff game, depending on who we play. And I don't really know if we'll be favored in any game in the playoffs, but that's just me. So what is the point of this video? It is that same narrative is in play now. And Matthew Stafford, in one way or another, I believe they're trying to get him to Detroit. But before that even happens, let me just put this out there. Why do you think the NFL literally flexes the very last game of the seasons, game number 272? It usually has huge implications. There's never a game that they don't flex that doesn't have some ginormous implication to it. Last year, it was the Lions against the Packers. The year before that, I want to say it was the Chargers and Raiders. And the team could have tied and would have sent the Pittsburgh Steelers home, and both of those teams would have made the playoffs. But Ben Roethlisberger's last year, if one of those if the Raiders won, the Raiders went, and the Steelers went instead of the Chargers. Anyway, I could go down. But this video is about Matthew Stafford and the fact that the LA Rams may have to beat the San Francisco 49ers for not only the Rams to secure a spot in the playoffs, but also for the Lions to get the first seed. Now, of course, I am not looking past the Dallas Cowboys, but I'm skipping ahead because we already know what we need to do. If the Washington Commanders cannot beat the 49ers this week, then it will be all on Stafford. It will be all on the LA Rams and Matthew Stafford to punch their ticket to the NFL playoffs. But it could be where, just like last year, the Rams win that game, it helps the Detroit Lions out. This year, if the Rams win that game, either way it go, the Rams winning that game is going to help the Detroit Lions out. Now, I pulled up the ESPN playoff simulator. Okay, so as you can see, we just used it last night, and week 16 officially drops off the Wednesday of the new league week, which is obviously today, the 27th of December. Crazy to think we only have 4 more days of the year. Okay, so let's play a little game here. Let's say You see here, I have the Rams, the 49ers losing one of their next two. What if, and the 49ers are the second seed, what if the Washington Commanders pull an upset? That would just switch these two guys. Okay, so this is even better than I thought. If the Niners lost 3 in a row earlier this season. So if the Washington Commanders, if the San Francisco 49ers win this game and lose to the Rams, then and we went out, this is what it would look like. But look at this. Look at this whole thing matching up. That if the if the Niners drop the last two, look at what that matchup is. Okay. Now, check this out. You ready for this? All right. This is when this stuff gets good. And like I said, y'all, you're like, why do you talk Detroit Lions? What? I love it. I love it. And just like you can go watch wrestling or any other form of entertainment, I think when it comes to the NFL, it is so much more than entertainment. It's entertainment, but it's got a lot behind it. It's got regions and locales, and you have massive fan bases behind it. I think the NFL is brilliant. I really do. They basically brainwash you to watching a team of your region so that you can devote, they can get your loyalty. I think it's brilliant. It's brilliant, but I eat it up. I go. Like I said earlier in the video, I accepted it October of 2019. That was when it sunk in of what the NFL really was. So again, this is not that for you to, it's not going to become a conspiracy channel and stuff like that. There are plenty of those out there. But this is kind of crazy because check this out. If the Detroit Lions, if this were to happen and the Lions get the first seed, they can't see anybody in the first round. So they would automatically get the second round person. Now, the Eagles would be the second seed. They probably would beat Seattle. Seattle would have to go in here. They probably get that game. Okay. That means, and the Dallas Cowboys, okay, would play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If the Dallas Cowboys, who went into Tampa last year and won, if they won, if the wild card round was the Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys, this right here is looking pretty intriguing. So you're talking about you end the season against the same team that you face off in the wild card round. And guess what happens here if the LA Rams win this game? Guess who comes to Detroit? If the Eagles, Rams, and Dallas Cowboys win, this team here comes to Detroit in the divisional round, one game away from the the NFC title game. So again, these are little fun videos I like to do because I love this time of year. And again, I know what the NFL is. I've accepted it a long time ago. And I know whatever you think, again, I'm not trying to change any of that stuff. I've accepted it. I enjoyed the whole thing. And now I know that the Detroit Lions are part of it. They're part of it. And they're going to be around for a long time. I have the receipts of all of this stuff. I talked about it from the end of 2021 all through 2022. I talked about it, Matthew Stafford's entire run. It just wasn't on this channel. And now we're coming into the Detroit Lions. And I told you guys that we will win a Super Bowl in the next 5 to 7 years. And that timeline could get pushed up. I mean, real talk, it could be as early as this year. I know it sounds ridiculous and stuff like that. It really could be as early as this year because the Lions are good for the NFL right now. And merchandise, NFC, there's a lot of firsts that the Detroit Lions are doing. And I hate to say it because I don't want to give you false hope, but this is what I believe. I wouldn't be surprised if the Detroit Lions end up in the Super Bowl. Our defense is not Super Bowl caliber. Our offense can carry a team. I would not be surprised if this is the year we end up in the Super Bowl. I wouldn't because you have the first seed. If I said this in about a month and a half ago, the number 1 and number 2 seeds typically wind up in the conference title game. The winner of that game goes to the Super Bowl, obviously. And it's on both sides of the conferences. It's AFC, NFC. So I would not be surprised. And if the Detroit Lions have the 3rd seed locked up, they can get the 2nd seed. That's in their control. They went out, they get the 2nd seed. They went out, they get some help, and the San Francisco 49ers drop 1. All of a sudden, they're the 1st seed. And if they're one of those 2 seeds, I see a conference championship game. I really do. So anyway, just a little fun video I wanted to do because somehow, some way, Stafford is going to play something, a role in this year. It really is. So do I think people have scripts? I don't. Do I think people are in on it? I don't know. But I know that there are storylines in play. Any legitimate form of entertainment has storylines. Your favorite video game, your favorite TV show. The NFL is no different. Storylines are in play. That is why. And that is why December football is so great, because there's so many implications happening in the month of December. So anyway, I'm not here to change your mind. I'm just here to relay my thoughts on the narrative and how I think it's going to play out. Wouldn't be surprised. I fully expect to see Stafford somewhere at Ford Field in one of the rounds. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Detroit Lions make the Super Bowl. So anyway, I will link the Stafford narrative video in here. It'll pop up right about now, because I want you to finish watching this video first and then click on the link. It's in the description now. They put them in the description. So open the description. You'll see the link and check out the narrative video. Leave a comment over there if you feel like it. But let me know your thoughts. How do you see this year playing out? I don't want this to turn this into one of them conspiracy channels, because that's not what I'm doing. But I do have my thoughts, and I would love to hear yours. Again, our team is on top, and we're going to be on top for a while. That's just they have taken so much from the city of Detroit as far as the NFL. It's time. We literally had the greatest running back of all time and a top 2-3 greatest receiver of all time, and they never won anything here. And the year our former quarterback leaves, he wins the Super Bowl. Come on, man. But let me know what your thoughts are on Matthew Stafford returning to Detroit in some form or fashion, and how likely do you think the Detroit Lions end up in the Super Bowl this year? You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions.